At Thitha village in Mwingi Central, Kitui County, we find these children playing like any normal child will do, but believe the smiles lies troubled souls. Souls whose innocence was stolen by someone close to them. Tears gather when their mother narrates the ordeal her firstborn boy has to go through.
Mtoto wangu wa kwanza alikuwa na mwaka mmoja ndio alianza kupata shida ya akienda kupupu. Anakuwa na shida na kuambia kwa kupupu kunauma. Saa zingine unaona nyama imetoka nje. Saa zingine anaenda kukalia choo. Nilikuwa natumia choo ya kukalia. Akienda kukaa anakaa mavi toki. Na anakaa sana. Mpaka saa zingine inambidi uende umuinue juu miguu imeganda.
The second boy too goes through the same mess, and their younger sister is not any better. Their mother alleges all evidence points to one man as having inflicted the untold sufferings on the little ones. Their father.
Bado nikakuja nikapata kasichana mtoto wa tatu. Nilipata msichana wa tatu. Nilikuwa saa zingine ananituma kwa soko, nikimwacha na mtoto nakuja nakuta mtoto anamwanga makojo tu, saa zote ni makojo. Namuuliza shida iko wapi? Yeye nimemwacha na mtoto, vijana ni wadogo. Niambia hiyo ni shida tu itaisha.
Seeking treatment for the children has been a cat and mouse game between her and the husband, whom she suspects was conniving with a private clinic until she took her daughter to a different hospital.
Nilipeleka huyo mtoto, walienda wakamwangalia. Wakasema ni kweli mtoto ako mkubwa zaidi yake ya kukojoa. Na anaonekana amekuwa akifanywa hivyo juu ana kidonda yenye wanaweza nishonea mtoto arudi normal. Amekuwa mkubwa kabisa.
When the mother got suspicious of her husband's naughty acts, it dawned on her that he was not up to any good, and it was time to take off. She has fled her matrimonial home in Goliba, Thika, to her maternal village in Mwingi, where she has sought help from a rights organization.
I told her, because she was fearing, I don't have money, my husband has a lot of money, the family has a lot of money. Sasa hii maneno yenyu ya polisi mimi sitaweza, but I told her no. I am interested of the treatment of these children.
Anita Ndunge, not her real name, says her husband, who works for the government in Nairobi, is dodgy.
She told me she noticed every time mtoto amelia mkojo inatoka, uchafu inatoka, the father washes, cleans up the mess, anafua nguo za mtoto.
Mwingi Central Police say linking the father to the heinous crime may be difficult. For now, the children urgently need help of a counselor as they wait for justice. Francis Mutegi.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing fine. I am too, and I'm glad to be here with you again today. Thank you for watching and thank you for working with us. I really am grateful for those people who have subscribed. If in case you haven't, kindly please do subscribe so that you can be able to help our society. Our society is really going through the wrong path. Well, you have watched that video, and unfortunately those are the kind of cases that I come across almost all the time in my life or in my part of work. Sometimes I get couples who have a child who was molested by a husband. A mother would come to me and say that their daughter has been molested by her husband and she doesn't know what to do. I'm grateful for this kind of a person because they tend to get help. I help them to get over it and I help them to get justice and protect their children. But we have situations whereby there are mothers who do not talk about it at all because they choose to protect the abuser over their own children. And unfortunately nowadays it's not all about the daughter. Even sons are being molested. It is something that is going on. We know about it, we've heard about it, and probably we've seen some children who are molested by their own father in their own house. And the family members tend to keep it as a family secret. A man will easily molest your daughter if you are, as a mother, do not seem to really take care of your child. This man sees you and already knows that there's nothing much you can do about it, and especially if it's a situation where there is domestic violence. This man this man takes away your power. This man is a person who knows that you are weak. There's nothing you can do. So there's nowhere you're going to take them, even if you found out that they molested your child. Listen, if you intend to protect the abuser over your own children, this is what is going to happen to your child. 1, you are taking away the self-esteem of this child. You are taking away the self-efficacy of this child. You are taking away self-worth of this child. You are taking away the kind of help that this child is supposed to have. When this child realizes or gets to know that you knew about this and you did not protect them, the child is even left more helpless, because this child has a mommy who is supposed to protect them from daddy who's decided to molest them, and mommy is not doing anything about it. This abuse will continue going on, and this child will come to a stage whereby they will take it as normal. It will become a routine to them that they will not even see it as if it's a problem anymore. And so as they grow up, they will not even talk to somebody about it, even if they knew or they know it is wrong. Why? Because if my mom and my dad did not protect me, what makes me believe that another person is going to protect me? Children who have tried to talk about this kind of situation are usually punished by their parents. Children who have come out to talk about this kind of situation, they are again neglected by those kind of people. It could be an uncle, it could be an aunt. But these outsiders will tend to be like, I don't want to get involved into somebody's marriage. So you sort this thing out, So the child is left with the feeling of betrayal, the feeling of mistrust. If you do not protect your child from incest, then you are raising a child who is very passive, a child who is will grow through frequent abuses, and a child who might end up in a victimization kind of situation, because when they are married, they might end up with the person who abuses them, and they will not leave because they feel that they are justified to be abused, because that is what you as a parent made them to believe when they were young. The reason why I'm doing this video today is to make us become more powerful and more knowledgeable and more courageous to protect these children. Mothers, kindly, I am asking you and I am begging you, do not choose your husband over your children. This person might decide to walk out of that marriage and leave you with these children. These children are your blood. How will they look at you if they come of age, when they realize that you are supposed to protect them and you did not? What will you tell them? What excuse will you give them? That their father was very powerful and there's nothing you could do about it? That you couldn't walk out because you wanted to protect the family's name? That there's nothing you could do because you are powerless? Those things will not make sense. You are exposing your child to be married in another abusive marriage, and he or she will not walk out of it. He or she will not walk out of it because they don't want to feel rejected again. The rejection that you and your husband gave this child when they were young. Unfortunately, this kind of situation, they are transgenerational. If you were abused when you were young, there are high chances that your daughter or your son will suffer the same thing and they will do nothing about it because you did nothing about it when they were being molested by your husband. So the reason will be, if you survived, even your daughter or your son will survive it as well. But will they? I don't know about that. Incest is associated with particular severe psychological and physical injuries. And those injuries do not go away at all. A child grows up with betrayal trauma. A child grows up with betrayal blindness. They end up justifying what happened to them or blaming themselves for what happened to them. Abusers, in most cases, they tend to make a child to believe that it is only them who can protect them. A child who is abused is in most cases exposed by abusive marriage or abusive household, domestic violence, or they are exposed by their mothers who do not seem to really care much about them. When a man realizes that you are not hands-on with your children, they might take advantage of molesting your children because they know you will not know. And you will not know because you are not hands-on. You will not check, you will not listen to this child, you are always busy, you are always not there. And so this gives a molester the chance to prey over your children or your child for that matter. It is simple. It is just like if you expose your thing carelessly, a thief will come and steal them. But if you protect them, if you're the kind of person who keep checking on the things over and over again, even a person gets scared of stealing them because you will know this thing is missing, and before that thing goes far, you shall have known it's missing and you shall recover it. But if you're careless, you do not check on your things, do not care about your things, then it's easy for somebody to steal your things and go away with it because you will never know. Before you know it, it's gone. It's the same thing that happens to your children. If you are not a mother who is hands-on, it is easy for your child to go through incest. The person, the man, your husband, can easily take advantage of the child because, again, I repeat, you are not hands-on. Children talk about silly things. You come home and they are all yapping, telling you about what happened the whole day. If they're talkative children, you will know. So in that kind of situation, if your husband touched your child, that child will talk about it, like as if she's telling you a story. And if you are keen, you will pick something from that story. And you will want to know more and protect this child before it gets out of hand. If your child is talkative and your child is bubbly and here and they are molested and they are told not to tell you as a mother, and you're the kind of a mother who is hands-on, you will know there's something wrong with this child, because why is this child quiet nowadays? Why is this child withdrawn nowadays? Why is this child seem like as if they are scared of your husband when they see them? You will observe this thing and will find out there's something wrong with this child. But if you are a mother who do not care, who do not seem to know what's happening in their house, who do not pay attention to your children, these abuses will start under your nose, you will never know, and they will continue over and over again, and by the time you know, it might have been too late. I have seen cases where fathers start molesting their children when they were young, and when this girl ends up to be 18 years old, she decides now she's a wife and she starts competing with you as a mother. And when you come out and you tell her all this kind of thing, she bursts out and tells you, this thing has been going on ever since I was this age. And that's when you're like, what? You go back to your husband and you're like, you've been molesting my daughter ever since she was young? And he'll tell you, yeah. And she's now a grown-up girl and I can easily marry her. What's the problem? She's a big person just like you. There's nothing that that you have, she doesn't have. What will you do? What will you say? Because I've had those kind of cases. I have had cases where a husband turned a daughter into a wife. And when the wife asked, they bluntly told her, this affair have been going on ever since I was 15 years old. And I'm not leaving him. He's now my husband. It is devastating. So, I am here tonight. It is 10 o'clock. I am here tonight to address you as a mother. Pay attention to your children. Molesting children, incest nowadays is very common. It doesn't matter how powerful that man is. It doesn't matter how much money he has. It doesn't matter how much he's taking care of you. Your children welfare is a priority. Because I do not think you want one day your children to ask you, where were you when daddy was doing this to me? You decided to look away. You decided to protect daddy and neglect me. So you have no right at all to talk to me about my morality. Mother, it is very painful when your daughter has grown up into a beautiful girl but cannot stay away from men because of what they went through. They lived that life. When your daughter is being molested by your own husband, she tends to have low self-esteem. I'm repeating this. This abuse will continue going on and on. Your daughter is exposed to be married by somebody who will do the same thing to her own children. You are exposing your daughter to be in a relationship whereby she is so passive, she cannot make her own decision because she's feeling worthless, and because she's grown up knowing that she has no right to speak her mind because you did not give her that chance when she was young. You did not empower her to talk. You did not empower her to express herself emotionally. You took that away from her the moment you decided to look away. You took that away from her the moment you decided to protect your husband over her. I do not know what kind of a grandmother you want to be. These things, they are usually transgenerational. And then you'll sit there and you say, somebody in your village somewhere cursed you. Somebody in the village somewhere is using jujus on you. Yet this is a situation that you created by yourself when you decided you're not doing anything to protect your child. Break up that kind of a generational curse, whatever thing you want to call it. Maybe you went through it and you survived it. Maybe when you were young, you went through incest and you survived it. And you feel it's okay. There's no guarantee that your daughter will also survive it. If you love your husband so much, the moment you realize that this thing is happening in your house, take a break from that man, no matter how much you love them. Take a break from that man and make sure he gets help. If he doesn't want to get help, then you have no right at all. You have no reason to go back and live with him as your husband. You are living with an abuser. You may want to protect your name. It is okay to protect your name, but protect your daughter as well. There are so many ways you can do this. Make sure your daughter gets psychological counseling. Do not just neglect the child and think it's just going to go away, like most of us parents usually do. When children go through trauma, we usually let it be like they will grow out of it. They will deal with it when they are young. They will not deal with it. The moment you realize your daughter has gone through this kind of situation, make sure your daughter gets psychological help and take your daughter away from that place. I know and I am sure you have solutions. You just decided that you are choosing your husband over your daughter. And if you are outside there and you realize this, or you observe there's a child who is going through this kind of thing, speak out. Don't say that is their business. I cannot interfere with. I don't want to get involved with people's marriage. Get involved. Don't be a coward. Protect this child from betrayal trauma. Protect this child from betrayal blindness. Protect this child from complex traumas in life. Because if you do not do that, that child might end up with your son. I don't think you want your son to end up with a girl who was molested and they were not given that chance to process it. Your son might end up with a girl who was molested. But if this girl was not taken care of psychologically, then it is your son who is going to suffer in this marriage. So it is not their problem. It is also your problem, because you do not know when these two people are going to meet there, your son and that girl that you didn't protect. It is all our responsibility. Incest is becoming very common. Incest is happening right under our noses. We have to be on the lookout. And this is something I tell parents all the time. Chase that money. It is okay. Work hard. Chase that money. But don't lose your child when chasing the money. Balance as much as you can. Take time to listen to your children. Listen to them babbling. Listen to them talking about those silly things that they've gone through during the day. Because then you will pick something. Another thing, be hands-on. Mothers who overt maternal affection tend to expose their children into these kind of situations. Be a hands-on mom. Listen to your children. Show your children affection. Let them know that they are loved. When you show them this, that they will be able to tell you what happened to them, even if they're told not to say. Affection makes them realize that you are there for them, that you will protect them, and you care for them. Try as much as possible as a mother to avoid having your daughter walking around half naked. It is fashion. It is your daughter. They look cute in those shorts. They look cute in those short dresses. They're beautiful. They're angels. But do not expose them that much, because you do not know what might happen the next minute. You do not know what is happening in the brains of that person. Teach your daughter to dress up, because the world is not fair anymore. The world is not safe anymore. The way you dress your child exposes them to danger, because you do not know whom they might end up being with or being around it. Some kind of these things that happens to our children, unfortunately, it is because of us parents who expose them those kind of situations. That movie that you've seen there, those children were not dressed up nudely. They were just decently dressed, but it happened. Now imagine if those children were in a situation where they are exposed to danger. If your husband is the kind of a person who is respectful and sees your child as a child, then it's okay. But if your husband is somebody that likes sleeping around probably, or you don't trust them, avoid dressing your children in short dresses. Avoid exposing their body so much. make sure you check out on your children all the time. I'm saying this because women, we know our husbands very well and we know what they're capable of doing. But we decide to look away. It is time to stop looking away. It is time to step up and protect our children. If you find this movie, if you find this video to be helpful, kindly subscribe and share, because when you share, it gets into many people's ears. People get to learn, people get to watch it, and people get to protect the children. We are out to protect our children. So do not sit down with this information. Share it, subscribe, comment. If you feel there's something you need to add from what I've already said, please add, because I know you know something probably I do not know or have not mentioned. Let us work together for the betterness of this country and our mental health. Thank you, and God bless you.